Oversaturation is definitely a problem in fashion and sneakers. The more people have access to a certain thing, the less cool it becomes, and then it gets to a point where it's so popular and it's so mainstream, it starts turning into a joke. Everyone knows the Panda Dunks by now, and if you're not into sneakers, you've definitely seen that colorway on someone's feet in the past few days. I myself am guilty. I do have a pair of Panda Dunks, so I'm feeding into this oversaturation problem. But Nike recently, they've taken the Panda colorway and they've kind of put a twist on it. They've still taken inspiration from a panda, but not the black and white giant panda that you're probably thinking of. Nike Dunk Low Red Panda. And right off the bat, I think the colorways on the shoe, it does make sense. I think they did a great job with the colors of the shoe, like especially this dark orange. It really does remind you of a red panda. But there's something about the color blocking, I don't know. There's something off about it a little bit, at least in my personal opinion. But me, being the dummy that I am, I'm not quite sure how to fix it. Now this shoe is dropping on October 27th for $120. I almost forgot about this shoe because we've seen images of the shoe for so long. I just thought I had missed the release date. But this shoe, officially dropping on October 27th. And this shoe comes with a hairy suede base layer and that dark brown. I know some earlier articles do say that it's made out of terry cloth, and I get why they went with hairy suede, obviously to mimic a red panda's fur. In a vacuum, I don't love that hairy suede. I just don't love how it feels, don't love how it looks, but I totally get why they had to play into the theme of the shoe. And then you see on the tan overlays on the swoosh, the mudguard, as well as the eye stays, that is leather. Very average leather, just what you would expect from a Nike Dunk. And then finally on the heel of the shoe, the back half of the shoe, you'll see that dark orange, red, brownish color. That is also suede, but not that hairy type of suede. Just synthetic feeling suede, not the best. So overall on the shoe, not a big fan of the materials. And perhaps the most unique part about the shoe, apart from the colorway, I think it's the tongue. So you see that stitching inspired by Red Panda. Very, very unique pattern. And then to cap it all off at the top of the tongue, this orangey Nike branding on the tag. Not Nike Air branding, it is a non-SB Dunk, so no Nike Air on the shoe. And you also see the same type of aesthetic on the Nike logo that's stitched on the booty of the shoe. And the Nike Dunk comes with a rubber cup sole, no Nike Air, very, very minimal and ancient technology. So very, very old, but obviously it still holds up. And the outsole of the shoe, it does have that circular traction. You see similar traction on a lot of shoes like the Air Force Ones, the Air Jordan 1s. And this one comes in a very deep, dark brown, almost chocolate color. This shoe doesn't come with any extra laces. I think the brown default laces actually fit pretty well. Yeah, I wouldn't go with anything else. I think if they came with like dark orange laces to match the heel counter or the tag on the tongue, I think maybe that might look pretty nice, but I'm trying to picture it, but I still think I prefer the brown default laces. Honestly, like 99% of the time, I just prefer the default laces that came out of the box. And the box of the shoe, very standard Nike box. Now moving on to size and comfort, I'm a size 9.5 true to size. I do have wide feet. For Nike Dunks, non-SB or SB, I stick true to size. I think lengthwise it fits pretty well. It's not the most comfortable shoe, it's very ancient. The Nike non-SB Dunks, they have no Nike Air, minimal cushioning. Yeah, there's just a lot of other shoes, especially modern day shoes, that just put the shoe to shame. I will say the ankle collar padding, it's pretty nice, it's pretty decent, but the overall like padding inside as well as the cushioning, as well as the foot to ground feel, it's just not very good. It just feels very ancient, very old. You feel very close to the ground and it's kind of stiff. I don't know what it is. This shoe in particular, compared to like other Dunks that I've worn before, maybe it's my mind playing games with me, but it felt a little bit more stiff out of the box. But overall, Nike Dunks, especially non-SB Nike Dunks, not very comfortable. And that brings the total sole score to 11 out of 20. A pretty low score compared to every other general release that I've reviewed. Now colorway wise, I think it's a cool concept. I think changing up the Panda Dunks is very, very smart. However, I just can't quite put my finger around it. I think there's probably a little bit too much tan on this shoe. I think I would have preferred a more darker orange, dark brown use on the shoe. There's something about the color blocking that just throws me off a little bit, but I do like that dark orange and the brown that they chose. I do think that's a good choice, but overall, I don't love this colorway. In terms of materials, I do get why they went with that very hairy suede, obviously to execute on the theme of a red panda, to mimic the fur. I definitely don't love that synthetic feeling suede on the heel counter. And then the leather, very average leather. It is what you expect from a Nike Dunk. Now in terms of comfort, like I said before, especially a non-SB Dunk, not a very comfortable shoe. Slightly beats out the Air Force Ones in terms of comfort, but still very low on the totem pole. No Nike Air, minimal cushioning, generic insoles, doesn't really do much in terms of comfort. Now in terms of versatility, the Dunk silhouette is obviously a very versatile silhouette. It's still around to this day, sells out very often for a reason, because it's easy to wear. It just really goes well with a lot of things. However, the colorway, I think generally it's a pretty versatile colorway. It is very earthy in terms of the brown and the dark orange, so I think that's fine. Even the tan, it blends in pretty well with a lot of outfits, but all together, spliced together, it might be a bit too much for some people, might not be that easy to wear. This is slightly different, but overall I think, in terms of colorway at least, it's still a pretty versatile colorway. In a vacuum, every single person you know probably owns a Nike Panda Dunk for a reason. It's such a versatile, easy to wear shoe, it goes with pretty much anything, so even though it's oversaturated, I don't blame people for getting a pair of Panda Dunks. However, I do really appreciate when Nike comes with something slightly different out of the box, taking a popular colorway, or a concept at least, not necessarily the colorway, but the concept, and putting a twist to it. And even though I don't absolutely love this shoe, I do appreciate the effort. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Nike Dunk Low Red Panda. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes